Looking at excerpts from Dream Forward, turning big visions into reality. And our mission is, well, it's pretty simple: to stop the paralysis.
It's a fantastic set of writings.
Well,
And, if you're listening to this, chances are you have that big, inspiring vision, a real North Star, but you feel just hopelessly overwhelmed.
right. Overwhelmed by the sheer size of it all.
Yeah, the steps required just seem too big.
So this dive is really for anyone who's stuck in that awkward and frankly deeply frustrating space between I want more and
And I have no idea where to start.
exactly. So
Yeah,
you
I
just
did
you
right.
don't. And the sources are great because they acknowledge that dreaming big is, it's all over social media, that the actual process.
The actual process is messy.
Yeah.
It's relentless. And yeah, it can be genuinely scary.
So we're moving past the glossy inspiration phase today.
We are. We're getting into the practical mechanics of it all. We're going to define what a big dream truly is, analyze the most dangerous, kind of sneaky reasons people abandon their visions.
Even before the first failure?
Yes, way before. And then most importantly, we're going to provide a practical framework for setting goals that actually organize your life and, move you forward.
Okay, let's unpack this. I think we have to start at the foundation, right? The core definition.
Mm-hmm.
We hear dream big constantly. But what does it actually mean beyond like a vague motivational poster?
The sources make this sound almost too simple, but I think the simplicity hides a real psychological battle.
Okay.
The core idea is that dreaming big just means allowing yourself to want more without immediately shutting that desire down.
Without the instant editor in your head.
Exactly, without shutting it down with logic or fear and this is so crucial, comparison to other people.
That distinction, the internal permission, that feels key. I mean, think back to when you were a kid. When you're 7, your limits are just non-existent.
Yeah.
You want to be an astronaut who also cures cancer and, I don't know, plays lead guitar in a stadium rock band.
And that's beautiful, isn't it? Because
Mhm.
the dream is pure, it's unedited. But then, well, we grow up.
And the world starts providing context. Bills happen, mortgages happen.
And the noise of other people's expectations happens.
Oh, yeah.
And suddenly we're adults, and we actively start shrinking our own dreams. We try to fit our ambition into what feels realistic
Or safe.
or safe.
Yeah.
The sources argue this is the moment the vision begins to die. You stop asking, what does my highest self want?
Mm-hmm.
And you start asking, what's the smallest, safest thing I can do that won't require me to, change my life too much?
So it's not just about size, it's about integrity. Dreaming big isn't about ego or being arrogant.
No, not at all. It's about honesty. Just being honest with yourself. It means letting yourself imagine the what, even if you genuinely have no idea about the how yet.
Right. The how can come later.
That's it. And the sources really hammer this point. The how can always be learned or hired or figured out over time. The biggest danger isn't some external thing.
It's internal.
It's that internal self-limiting sentence that just kills countless visions right at the source. That's not for people like me.
Okay, I wonder though, how do the sources draw the line between that kind of self-sabotage and just necessary realism? I mean, there has to be a point where logic is helpful, right?
For sure.
I can dream of owning a private jet, but if I'm an entry-level accountant, is it self-sabotage to acknowledge that gap, or is that just being realistic?
That's a crucial question. And the material suggests the difference is all about your intent.
Okay, intent.
So if you use logic to refine the dream, I need X amount of income to afford the jet, so I'll pursue this specialized certification. That's productive. That's realism in action.
I see.
But if you use that same logic to discard the dream entirely, I can't afford it, therefore I shouldn't want it, therefore I'm not worthy of it, that's where the damage is done.
Got it. So if we accept that the first step is giving ourselves permission, let's talk about why these visions fade. Why do so many people stop even before they hit a big failure?
Well, if we shift focus to the obstacles, the fear of failure is the obvious one,
Yeah.
right? It's immediate, you can quantify it,
Mm-hmm.
but the sources highlight that the fear of judgment is often far worse. It's a much more insidious killer of dreams.
I can see that. Failing quietly in your own home hurts, sure, but failing publicly, where people saw your big ambition and now they see you fall short.
The sting is just compounded, isn't it? It's that external critique, that potential ridicule, the huge psychological barrier.
Yeah.
It's why people stick to the small, safe dream. If you pursue something modest and don't get it, who cares? If you pursue something massive and fall short.
Then people feel like they have a license to criticize your ambition itself.
Exactly. So to protect ourselves from that judgment, we unconsciously lower our own ceiling. We trade that massive potential satisfaction for just minimal exposure.
And what about just disappointment? The sources talk about this idea of trying once, taking one big swing, and when it doesn't work, you just decide the whole thing is impossible.
Yes, and this goes back to how we budget our mental energy. There was a quote in there that really stood out to me.
What was it?
I didn't fail. I just ran out of belief.
Wow.
See, it's not a cognitive problem. It's an emotional budgeting problem. People mistake running out of energy for running into some hard, immovable wall.
Let's unpack that a bit more because that's deeply impactful. It implies the dream doesn't die because it was impossible.
Not at all.
It dies because of exhaustion.
Precisely. Successful people, according to this material, they manage their belief like it's a finite resource. They protect it.
From what?
From unnecessary external noise, from distraction, from beating themselves up. Most dreams die because people just get tired or distracted or discouraged right before a breakthrough.
Because they haven't planned for the emotional cost.
They haven't. They poured all their belief into that initial excitement, but they saved nothing for the inevitable slog of, month 3, month 4, month 5.
And this connects to the broader society, doesn't it? Society tends to reward comfort and safety way more than it rewards courage.
Oh, for sure.
The mortgage needs stability, your job needs consistency, and that makes pursuing a big dream a quiet but powerful act of rebellion. You're actively choosing the hard path.
It's so true. Most people choose that quiet safety, and it provides immediate relief. But the sources had a fascinating observation about that.
Which is?
That quiet safety, that refusal to chase the dream, can be slowly draining. You aren't failing loudly, but you're fighting this low-level, gnawing battle against dissatisfaction.
I think everyone has felt that. That slow drain is almost worse than a sharp, motivating failure.
It is, because it's so vague. You can't fix a vague feeling of being drained. The sources argue the real turning point, the shift from paralyzed dreamer to doer, it doesn't start with action.
It starts with honesty.
It starts with profound honesty about what you truly want.
Mm.
You have to admit the dream is real and that the current situation is draining before you can ever start to plan for a change.
Okay, so if that honesty is the starting line, this is where it gets really interesting. We have to draw that explicit line between dreams and goals.
Yes.
Because they are absolutely not interchangeable. People use them that way all the time, and that confusion is exactly where the process falls apart.
We need to lay out their core functions because they serve two really distinct psychological purposes. The dream. That's the destination.
The big picture.
It's emotional, it's inspiring, it gives you the why. I want to be financially successful, or I want to create a business that changes my community.
So it's the emotional North Star, which means the goal is the map. It has to be practical, specific. Its whole function is to organize you. It gives you the how.
Exactly. The goal needs metrics. It needs deadlines.
Yeah.
I will secure 3 new enterprise clients by the end of Q3, or I will launch the MVP of my business in 12 months.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
What if my dream is to earn, say, $250,000 next year? Is that a dream or a goal? It's got a number, but it feels inspirational.
That's a great question. The sources would suggest that the difference is whether it has an attached action plan.
Ah.
If 250K is just the figure you use to motivate yourself, it's a dream. It becomes a goal the moment you say, I will achieve this by executing this specific 12-month strategy broken down into 2 new revenue streams and, say, 100 sales calls a month.
So the transformation happens not in the rush of the dream.
No, it happens in the mundane, sometimes boring execution of the goals.
And that's the danger zone, right? That shift from this is amazing to this is just Tuesday.
Yes.
Most people quit when the pursuit stops feeling exciting and starts feeling like work, when the novelty is gone and it's just the daily grind of showing up for that specific, measurable action.
That is the most dangerous inflection point for any big vision. We all have great Mondays where we make huge plans. We need a structure to navigate the Tuesdays.
So speaking of structure, for you, the listener, who needs that actionable roadmap, the sources give a really clear, grounded framework. 5 steps.
5 steps on how to set goals that actually move beyond just living in a notebook.
Now let's really sink into these. So step 1.
Step 1, write them down. And the sources are really specific about this. Not just typed, but physically written on paper.
Why the physical act? I mean, what's the difference between a goal on my phone and one in a notebook?
There's a huge difference psychologically. Writing by hand slows you down, it increases retention, and it physically transforms this ephemeral thought into a concrete thing.
An artifact.
Exactly. It moves it from your cluttered mental landscape onto a physical space you can treat as sacred. It's an active commitment, not just a casual note.
Okay, that makes sense. Step 2, be specific. This feels like where the rubber meets the road.
Absolutely. If a goal isn't measurable, you can't manage it.
Yeah.
I want to be a better leader is.
Yeah.
It's a wish. It's not a goal.
So what's a specific version of that?
A specific goal is, I will read one book on leadership development every month for 6 months, and I'll implement one new feedback mechanism with my team per quarter.
Specificity gives you a yes or no metric every single day.
You either did it or you didn't.
Okay, step 3. This one seems to address that belief exhaustion problem we talked about. Attach emotion or purpose?
Yeah. We all know discipline is a fleeting resource.
Yeah.
It fades, right?
Mm.
Usually around week 2 when the initial motivation is gone.
For sure.
But purpose lasts much longer. The sources encourage you to tie the goal not just to an outcome, but to a deeper identity.
So you're not just trying to lose 15 pounds.
You're becoming the kind of person who prioritizes their health so they can travel in retirement. If you know why you're doing it, what deeper value it serves, the energy to keep going becomes regenerative.
That's a big reframe. It's not about the action. It's about the identity shift needed to maintain it.
Exactly, which leads right into step 4. Break it down. A 12-month goal is just too big to think about tomorrow morning.
It's overwhelming.
Totally. You had to define the steps monthly, weekly, and most critically, daily.
This is what makes the enormous dream feel manageable. It's just about what is the one single unsexy step I have to take today.
Yes. The sources stress that if you feel overwhelmed, it means your daily steps are still too big. A true goal breakdown means you know exactly what you need to do every morning. It might be spend 60 minutes researching legal requirements. Unglamorous, but it's movement.
And finally, the step everyone forgets, but it's maybe the most human and critical one. Step 5, forgive yourself.
This is non-negotiable. Consistency beats perfection every single time. Every time.
So if you miss a day,
If you miss a day or even week life happens, you get sick, you lose steam. It doesn't mean you quit. It just means you're human. The failure isn't missing the day. The failure is letting that lapse become a permanent surrender.
the goal is just to start back up the next day. Okay, so if we pull all of this together, the dream, the dangers, the difference between emotion and action, the key takeaway from this whole deep dive seems to be that big dreams don't start with some massive, terrifying action.
No, that comes later.
They start with a decision to just stop lying to yourself about what you truly want.
So what does this all mean? Big visions don't require these big, reckless leaps. They just require the next small, clear step. The sources stress that the entire future you're imagining is built by the small, maybe even boring choices you make today.
The consistent application of goals builds the capacity to handle the dream.
That is so.
That's a powerful message.
It is.
We want to leave you with a final thought, a challenge for you to consider this week.
Give yourself genuine permission to dream big this week, even if it's just private. You don't have to share with anyone. Just release the judgment.
Write down one big dream you've been afraid to admit, maybe even just to yourself. Get it on paper.
And then write one small goal, a specific measurable action that moves you toward it. Not 10 tasks, not a complex plan.
It's one thing.
Just one thing you can do tomorrow morning that honors that newly admitted dream.
Because that one small choice, repeated consistently, is the absolute difference between a vision that dies quietly from neglect and a reality that is built step by step.